Another day to live, another day to love, and another day to love. For today's video, we're going to talk about Lesson 1 for Grade 7 Mathematics, which is about the notation and description of sets. Miss Cruz has always been a fan of Korean drama since 2016 because of the actors, the storyline, and great cinematography of the dramas. Every year, she made sure that she watched the set of 16 episodes of those dramas. As you can see in the picture, those are some of the set of 2016 Korean dramas that she watched. Just like these dramas, there are a lot of sets that you can find in our surroundings. In this lesson, you are expected to, number 1, describe well-defined sets, subsets, universal sets, null set, cardinality of sets, union and intersection of sets, and the difference of two sets. Next is identify well-defined set and illustrate well-defined sets, subsets, universal sets, null set, cardinality of sets, union and intersection of sets, and the difference of two sets. So looking at the pictures here, these are the different groups leading to different sets of identities. Looking at the pictures, what did you notice? Can you see different groups? What are those sets? A lot of things in real life compose of different sets. Set of animals, set of transportations, set of fruits, set of shapes, and many more. Just like this, mathematics have different set of symbols and notation to represent mathematical concepts and objects. In this lesson, you will learn some notation and description of set. As you read, take note in finding answers to the following questions. Number 1, what is a set? And number 2, how will you find the subsets of a set? For the directions, state whether each of the following sets is well-defined or not. Write your answer on the space provided, but this time we're going to answer that already. For number 1, the set of beautiful girls. Is it well-defined or not? Okay, that is not well-defined. But why? We cannot determine those that are beautiful or those beautiful girls. We don't know. It can be me, it can be you, it can be any other girls. Okay, that's why this is not a well-defined set. How about number 2, the set of big numbers? Okay, number 2 is still not well-defined set because we don't know what are those big numbers. How about number 3? The set of even numbers. The set of even numbers is a well-defined set because we know what are those even numbers. We can count it as 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on and so forth because we know what are those even numbers. That's why that is a well-defined set. For number 4, we have the set of composite numbers. That is a well-defined set because we also know what are those composite numbers. And for number 5, the set of good teachers, that is not well-defined set because we don't know who are those good teachers. Okay, so in that, we will now proceed with the basic ideas of sets. Let us first define what is a set. It says here that set is a collection of objects. Those objects are called elements or members of a set. For example, we have a set of counting numbers. The set of counting numbers will start at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on. So, and then, aside from that, we also have here a set of integers. Okay, so we use capital letters such as A, B, C, D, and E to denote sets. That's why I use the capital letter A when I represent the set of counting numbers. And lowercase letters as A, B, C, D, and E to denote the elements of a set. It is also common practice to list the elements of a set in braces. Okay? So, practice writing a braces. And then, the elements are being separated by commas. Again, example, we have here A, or the set of A is equal to 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So we can say now that 2 is an element or a member of A. So in symbol, ito siya. You can actually see it. You have the 2. Then the symbol for element is the E. And since this is a set of A, we use the capital letter A. So once again, the symbol E is read as is an element of, o kaya naman is a member of. And the notation E is read as, when there's a slash, that is read as not an element of. In addition to that, we can also have a set with no element, and that is what we called an empty set or null set. So the symbol for an empty set is shown in this slide. Okay, it's like an empty braces and a circle, then a line in between. Okay, so another thing to remember for making a set is that if a set contains many elements, we often use 3 dots, just like what I've mentioned earlier. For example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that so on and so forth. So since there's so many elements in that set, we can use 3 dots, and that is what we call ellipses. So after knowing what set is, let us now proceed with the subsets. Subsets are all the possible elements in a given set. Set A is a subset of set B if and only if every element in A is also an element in B. So for example, we have here to determine all the possible subsets of the set. So for letter A, we have set of 1, 2. So what are the subsets in that set? So we have 1, we have 2, we also have 1 and 2, and of course the null or empty set. Okay, it belongs. Next, for letter B, we have 1, 2, 3. So what are the subsets, or what are the elements in that set? So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3. It can also have 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So from 2 elements down to 3 elements, then lastly is the empty set. Okay, so same with letter C. We have A, B, C. So what are the subsets? We have A, we have B, we also have C. Then join, we have AB, we have AC, we have BC, and we have ABC, and lastly, once again, we have the null or empty set. Okay, so aside from the description of sets, we also have the notation of sets, which identifies the ways on how we can describe a particular set. So there are 3 ways in which we can describe a set as follows. For number 1, we have the roster notation or listing method. For number 2, we have the verbal description method. And for number 3, we have the set builder notation. For the roster notation or listing method, it says here that this is a method describing a set by listing each element of the set inside the symbol of the braces. Once again, when we're referring to roster notation or listing method, the keyword is listing each element. In listing the elements of the set, each distinct element is listed once, and the order of the elements does not matter. Again, the listing elements of the set, each distinct element is listed only once. Okay, and the order of the elements does not matter. So for example, we have here set A, set B, and set C. So I list all the elements for set A. So we have for set A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For set B, we have G, A, L, E, O. And for set C, we have 5, 10, and 15. Moving on, we have the verbal description method. Okay, so in its title itself, it is a method of describing a set in words. We can describe the sets named in number 1 as follows. Okay, so earlier, I only list all the elements of the set. Now, we're going to use words. Okay, we need to describe the set using words. So for number 1, earlier, we list set A is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, in verbal description, we have here set A is the set of counting numbers less than 8. That's why the counting numbers that are less than 8 are what we list earlier, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, for number 2, we have set B is the set of letters in the word Gallego. That's why we have 2G, we also have 2L. So I only list letter G, letter A, letter L, letter E, and letter O. Once again, once nyo lang po i-lilista siya. Okay? So, for the last example, we have set C. For set C, it is the set of positive multiples of 5. And our set C earlier, we have the 5, 10, 15. That's why those are the positive multiples of 5. Lastly, we have the set builder notation. The set builder notation is a method that lists the rules that determine whether an object is an element of the set rather than the actual elements. So for example, we have here the set of all x such that x is a counting number less than 8. Okay, that's why earlier we have the 1 up to 7. And then how do we read letter B? So the set of all x such that x is a letter in the word Gallego. And for number 3, we have here set C. So the set of all x such that x is a positive multiple of 5. So, keep in mind what is a set and how can we describe a set. So set, once again, is a collection of objects, and those objects are called elements or members of a set. Lastly, we can describe set using roster notation, our listing method, verbal description method, and the set builder notation. So hopefully you learned something today, and thank you for listening, and God bless.
Hold up.